This video is brought to you by Chetan Patel, CEO and founder of MWH Holdings Group. Ever wondered why the traditional debt system is often seen as a burden rather than a blessing? Let's delve into this. The traditional debt system has been the cornerstone of finance for centuries. It's the foundation of our economies, the driving force behind businesses, and indeed, a crucial aspect of our individual lives. When we think about the traditional debt system, we often picture it as a lifeline, a means to an end. It's the fuel that powers startups, the springboard that propels entrepreneurs, and the safety net that catches us when we fall. It's the student loan that funds our education, the mortgage that puts a roof over our heads, and the business loan that turns our dreams into reality. But as much as it is a lifeline, it can also be a millstone. The traditional debt system is like a double-edged sword, and its drawbacks can sometimes outweigh its benefits. High interest rates are one of the most significant pain points of this system. They can lead to a spiraling debt trap where the principal keeps growing and the interest keeps compounding. Another issue with the traditional debt system is the risk of default. When a borrower fails to repay their loan, it doesn't just hurt them, but it also hurts the lender. This risk of default can lead to a domino effect, causing a ripple of financial instability that can shake the very foundations of our economies. And let's not forget the pressure that the traditional debt system puts on cash flow. It's like a constant drip, a steady drain on resources. This pressure can stifle growth, hinder innovation, and even cause businesses to fold. So with all these drawbacks, it's no wonder the traditional debt system is often seen as a burden rather than a blessing. But don't despair. These challenges don't mean we're doomed to a life of financial struggle. They simply highlight the need for better, smarter ways of financing. So, is there a better alternative to the traditional debt system? Let's explore. Imagine a world where debt is replaced by equity. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? This isn't the stuff of fantasy or fairy tales. It's the reality of equity financing. This is a different approach to raising capital for your business. An approach that might just be the game changer you've been looking for. So what exactly is equity financing? In the simplest terms, it's exchanging a slice of your business ownership for capital. Yes, you heard it right. You are essentially inviting others to become partners in your business. Their investment becomes your capital, and in return, they get a share in your business. Now, you might be thinking, why would I want to share my business? Well, it's not about giving away your hard-earned business. It's about growing it with less financial risk. Because unlike debt, equity doesn't need to be repaid. There are no looming monthly repayments, no ticking interest rates, no pressure on your cash flow. Instead, your investors share the risk with you. If your business encounters a rough patch, it's not just your problem, it's everyone's. And when your business thrives, everyone shares in the success. It's a partnership in the truest sense, and that's not all. Equity financing could also bring in a wealth of expertise and connections. Your investors, now partners, have a vested interest in your success. They bring their knowledge, their network, and their resources to the table. It's like getting a team of mentors and advisors, all invested in your success. Equity financing changes the game. It takes the weight of debt off your shoulders. It brings in capital, expertise, and connections. It lets you focus on what you do best, running and growing your business. So the next time you're thinking about raising capital, think beyond debt, think equity. Because the best partners in business are those who share your vision, your risk, and your success. Equity financing, thus, seems to be a game changer. But how does it actually work? Replacing debt with equity is not a simple switch. It's a whole new approach to financing. Let's delve deeper. Equity financing, at its core, is a method of raising capital by selling shares in a company. Imagine you're the owner of a startup. Your business is like a pie, and you've got the whole pie to yourself. Now, in order to raise funds, you decide to sell pieces of your pie. Or in other words, shares in your company. These shares represent a portion of the ownership of your company. The more slices you sell, the more owners you have, and the more capital you raise. So why would anyone choose this over debt financing? Well, the first benefit of equity financing is that there's no repayment obligation. Unlike loans, which you have to pay back with interest, the funds you raise through selling shares are yours to keep. You don't have to worry about monthly repayments eating into your cash flow. Secondly, equity financing comes with less financial risk. If your business doesn't do well, you don't owe anyone any money. Your investors, who bought shares in your company, share the risk with you. They knew the stakes when they bought the shares. If the business fails, they lose their investment and you don't end up in debt. Lastly, equity financing has the potential for high returns. If your business does well, your investors stand to make a substantial profit. Their shares become worth more than what they paid for them. This potential for high returns can make your business more attractive to investors, helping you raise more capital. So let's recap. Equity financing is a method of raising capital by selling shares in your company. It's a better alternative to debt because it comes with no repayment obligation, less financial risk, and the potential for high returns. So, equity financing offers a win-win solution for all stakeholders. But what's the catch? Equity financing sounds like a dream, but like everything else, it has its own drawbacks. Now don't let this put you off, because every silver lining has a cloud, and it's crucial to understand both sides of the coin. Firstly, we have the loss of control. When you opt for equity financing, you're essentially inviting others to the decision-making table. These new stakeholders or shareholders will now have a say in how your business is run. They might push for changes that you're not comfortable with, or they might have a different vision for your venture. It's like inviting guests to your house and then finding out they want to rearrange your furniture. Secondly, there's the dilution of ownership. When you offer equity, you're slicing up the ownership pie. The more slices you hand out, the smaller your own piece becomes. This can be a bitter pill to swallow, especially if you've nurtured your business from the ground up. It's like watching your child grow up and go off to college. You're proud, but there's a certain pang of loss. Finally, there's the pressure to deliver profits. With equity financing, your shareholders will expect a return on their investment. This means you need to consistently generate profits. It's like being a baker in a town full of sweet-toothed residents. You need to keep the pastries coming. And they better be good. But here's the thing. These challenges can be managed effectively. You can maintain control by setting clear terms and conditions before bringing in investors. You can manage dilution by being strategic about how much equity you offer. And as for the pressure to deliver profits, well, that's just good business practice, isn't it? Equity financing, despite its drawbacks, offers a better alternative to the traditional debt system. But how do we make the switch? Stay tuned, because that's the question we'll be tackling next. Making the switch from debt to equity is not an overnight process. It requires strategic planning and careful execution. Let's delve into how this transition can occur. First, strategic planning. This involves evaluating your company's financial health, identifying the amount of equity you need, and understanding the implications of diluting ownership. You need to have a clear vision of where you want your business to be before you can start this journey. Next, capital raising. This can be a challenging process. You need to convince investors that your business is worth their time and money. This involves pitching your business effectively, showcasing your growth potential, and demonstrating your management's ability to deliver results. It's about building a compelling story that will attract investors and make them want to be part of your journey. Then comes the stakeholder management. As you transition from debt to equity, you will be dealing with a new set of stakeholders. The shareholders. They will have expectations and demands. It's crucial to communicate effectively with them, manage their expectations, and involve them in your business decisions. Remember, shareholders are not just passive investors, they are partners in your business. Implementation is the final step. This involves executing the plans you've made, raising capital, and managing your new stakeholders. It's about turning your vision into reality. This step is often the most challenging, as it involves managing the day-to-day operations of your business while also dealing with the complexities of the transition. And of course, throughout this process, it's crucial to maintain transparency and adhere to regulatory guidelines. These steps, if implemented effectively, can ensure a smooth transition from debt to equity. So, we've seen that making the switch from debt to equity involves strategic planning, capital raising, stakeholder management, and effective implementation. It may seem daunting, but the benefits can be enormous. Replacing debt with equity, thus, offers a smarter way for all stakeholders to create value. It's time to rethink our approach to financing.